I'm going to tell you what that boy would have gone to hell and back and ultimately did to find out. I'm about to hand you the keys to the kingdom to find your freedom and live life on your own terms. Quite a young boy sat there on a blue kitchen tabletop, 9, maybe 10 years old. His mom is in the same room, just 10 feet away. They're not making eye contact, but they are having a conversation. It's a quiet Saturday morning, and during this back and forth, the young boy has a spoon in one hand and he has a plastic cup containing milk in the other. He's transferring this brown powder from the spoon to the cup. One spoonful after the other, heaping, mind you. And what would ordinarily be one scoop, maybe 2 tops, ends up being 6 or 7 as he loses track of what he's doing. And by the time he regains consciousness to realize what he's done, he proceeds nevertheless. He walks over to his microwave and he heats up the plastic containing cup for 30 seconds as he stands there anxiously awaiting that time to pass. 30, 29, 28. He still stood there. He gets excited. 5, 4. As he gets down to 1 second, he's going to hit the cancel button on the microwave to perfectly time the pressing of that button so that a 0 will remain displayed on the LCD screen. This was one of a number of quirks that this young boy was notorious for. He walks into the TV room not just with 7 scoops of Nesquik powder chocolate milk, but a plate full of waffles. 3 waffles to be exact, that are so soggy because they are literally drenched in log cabin syrup that they might as well have been found from the ocean floor. He sat there before the TV, one forkful after the other, not focused on what he's eating, not really noticing the sensations, but he's watching the Power Rangers. He admires the Red Ranger. It's a very mighty, courageous, and masculine figure. He'd like to emulate him someday. He never asked himself what the Red Ranger had for breakfast. Did he have Nesquik, chocolate milk, and 3 soggy waffles? These thoughts never enter his mind. But 6 years later, he gets put under a sedative and they stick a camera down his throat into his esophagus and they take several pictures. A week later, that boy is diagnosed with a rare disease called EOE. Eosinophilic esophagitis. Up until that point in time, this boy had never considered the importance of what touches his tongue, teeth, and lips. He had never considered the importance of what he had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and certainly had never put 2 and 2 together in terms of connecting the dots between his diet and his experience of this life. Maybe you're someone who can relate to this. Maybe you are experiencing something right now that has no obvious answer. Maybe you've got a little bit of anxiety. You're not able to breathe from the base of your spine and be present to the moment. Maybe you're struggling right now with sleep. You're waking up in the middle of the night, a little bit anxious. Maybe you're not able to get to sleep as quickly as you would like to. Maybe you just don't have the energy that you would like to possess, and you don't feel able to carry out your day with excellence because of that. You feel energetically stifled. And if you can relate to that, I'm going to tell you what the 9-year-old boy didn't know. I'm going to tell you what the 15-year-old boy didn't know. I'm going to tell you what that boy would have gone to hell and back and ultimately did to find out. I'm about to hand you the keys to the kingdom to find your freedom and live life on your own terms. So listen up, guys. Take action on the following. We live in a world that is not natural. We live in a world that is so far removed from where we've come from and how we've evolved evolutionarily that it's quite absurd. But it doesn't really matter how absurd it is if enough people buy into it. The 9-year-old boy, the 3 waffles, the log cabin syrup that made his waffles incredibly soggy that they may as well have been found on the ocean floor amidst the 7 scoops heaping of Nesquik. When that's all you've ever known, it doesn't matter how objectively absurd it is, because what matters is the fact that relative to your point of reference, and if that's all you've ever known, it just is. It's the water that the fish doesn't perceive because it's always been in the background of its environment. And that's the world that we live in. That's the world that I live in, that you live in, that the 9-year-old and the 15-year-old lived in. But that boy wasn't given a map to navigate effectively. The log cabin syrup, the waffles, the Nesquik powder, these are all processed, highly processed, hyper-palatable foods that are found in the aisles of grocery stores. The danger zone, man. The danger zone. And I went to the danger zone, and I didn't even know that I was just silently stepping on these landmines because there was no obvious combustion, explosion at the point of contact with the landmine. I never made the connection when I was 15 years old that my inflammatory condition of the esophagus that made it damned near impossible to swallow a bite of food without it completely sticking and leaving me unable to speak and barely able to breathe. See, I never made the connection that the food that I had been eating for years, for a decade, leading up to that diagnosis could potentially be contributing. I had no idea what a processed food was. I didn't know that this word food is so loosely thrown around nowadays to the point where these frankenfoods that are hardly such, that are found in bags, boxes, cans, and containers. These get falsely made equivalent with real food. And these foods are putting a dampener on your health. But because everybody else is doing it, they're eating the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the nachos, the Cheez-Its, the pretzels, the animal crackers. God damn it, the animal crackers! My sister rents out a daycare, and I was having a look at some of the snacks that they offer these children. And we wonder, why do our kids have so many allergies, asthma? Why are they unable to sit still? Allergies, asthma, ADHD, why can they not have sustained focus? Why do they have OCD? Why do they bang their heads against the blue tabletop when they don't understand a situation before them? It's like all of these seemingly disparate dots, right? All of these different symptoms and these different names of potential diseases that can arise, but we never trace those dots back to the diet. But after I was diagnosed with eosinophilic esophagitis, I connected those dots. And I realized the importance of the fuel that I gave myself. I realized that not all calories were created equal. And that it's not just the macronutrients, but it's the micronutrients that nourish you. And the fact that processed packaged foods are fundamentally devoid of such. And that a paucity, a lack of these nutrients, can manifest in a number of different ways that don't seem related, seem so complex. And we've been made to believe that this is a complex game. Nutrition, getting healthy, losing weight, being no longer fat, sick, and infertile. But it doesn't have to be that way. Stick to the perimeter of your grocery store and buy whole, minimally processed foods, red meat, blueberries, apples, bananas, eggs, potatoes, real, whole food that is actually found in nature. We are the only species smart enough to learn how to synthetically derive our own food, but at the same time, dumb enough, naive enough to actually eat it. Guys, if you have discernment in any area of your life, the most important area is that which you allow to touch your tongue, teeth, and lips, that which you put into your body. I hope you realize what this is costing you on the back end, because on the front end, sure, you're getting that quick hit of dopamine, that taste of sugar on your tongue, that proprietary blend of industrial seed oils, added sugars, and refined grains. But ask yourself, is it worth it when you pay the piper on the back end? Guys, I love you all very much. Comment down below. Are you ready to take your health back? The greatest heist of human health is abominable. Your health has been taken from you, and you've been given this narrative that good health requires a magic pill or potion. It requires something beyond you. It requires something new, something novel, something sexy. Guys, it's not sexy, but it is simple, and it may not be easy, but I'm here to help. Comment down below, friends, like and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, until next time, find your freedom.